companies concerned in engineering manufacturing in the framework of the Italian delegation which is visiting Egypt. Sahar Talawi reports.
An economic forum was organized by the Egyptian-Italian Friendship and Cooperation Society headed by former Italian ambassador to Egypt Antonio Bedini. The Italian business delegation currently visiting Egypt consists of 50 businessmen, has expressed enthusiasm towards enhancing mutual cooperation and boosting trade exchange between the two nations.
Now we are very much keen on enhancing industrial cooperation. We want to share our knowledge, our know-how, our production ability with Egypt to become more competitive in the global market. We have good quality, but the price is very high. You have a little bit low quality, below quality, but the price is very low. So we try to join the points of strength. We want to put our technology, our marketing knowledge, our know-how to the service of the Egyptian partners, and we can have the cost of labor, which is more reasonable, cost of electricity more reasonable. So if we join the 2 points of force, we will be more competitive in the common interest in the global market.
5 initiatives have been presented to the Egyptian cabinet in the fields of agriculture, tourism, small and medium enterprises. On the sidelines of the press conference, the president of the Italian-Egyptian Business Council, Khalid Abu Bakr, pointed out that the Italians are used to investing in an unstable political climate.
We're very happy today with this forum that our friend Italian businessmen and business community are interested to visit Egypt to expand the different opportunity of investment and opportunity of growth in the Egyptian market. And this comes as a result, one of the early results for the President Morsi previous visit to Rome in September, where we have delivered a clear message of trust on the Egyptian economy and the ongoing business, and that business has come back to normal in Egypt after a long term of 18 months transition, revolution, political election. So now Egypt is back to work, and this is the message that we delivered. As the first consequences, we have this forum from Italian here. This will be followed by several forums from here till December, then a major event in end of January, where the government and the business community, Italian all business community and syndicate, will be present in Egypt for a larger forum economic reform.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the International Business and Investment Association said that the Italian delegation will meet the Egyptian Prime Minister Hisham Kandil to review of proposals.
We are cooperate with the Italian-Egyptian Council maybe for a few months, just to enlarge the in-between trade between Italy and Egypt, which reached right now $6 billion, and also the number of investment from direct investment from Italy to Egypt, which reached right now 2.5 billion.
Accordingly, the main goal of the mission is to enhance the economic cooperation between the two countries, boosting potentialities to raise trading relations and uniting the points of strength between the two economies.
The conference comes as one of the positive reasons of President Mohamed Morsi's visit to Italy recently to increase the cooperation between Egypt and Italy. Reporting for Nile International, I'm Sahar Talawi. The Italian National Day as well as the Italian Armed Forces Day were celebrated by the Italian Embassy in Cairo. During the celebration, Italy's ambassador spoke about the bilateral ties and the economic cooperation between the two Mediterranean countries. Ahmed Nader was there and filed in the following report.
The Italian Embassy in Cairo celebrated the Italian Armed Forces Day and the Italian National Day on the 4th of November. The celebration offered the Italian ambassador to Cairo, Claudio Pacheco, to highlight the great relations between the two Mediterranean countries.
Our National Day because it was the day in which it was approved our new constitution, and Italy after the war, after World War II, went back to democracy And that's why for us it's a very important day and has become our national day. At the same time, I think it's very meaningful today to celebrate the fact that Egypt also is for the first time in its recent history on the path of building a democracy. And we have great hopes and expectations.
Cultural ties between two great civilizations such as Egypt and Italy were also mentioned, as well as means of boosting them.
In the cultural field, which I represent specifically, we have a lot of events and relationships, events both organized here in Cairo and in Rome in cooperation with your Egyptian Academy, the cultural section of the embassy. And we are starting a new program in these days together with your embassy in Rome, and we are doing a lot of also here in Cairo. We have our institute in Zamalek, which is a very quiet place where we have developed a very, very rich program, cultural program, never interrupted, even if there was a revolution, but even during the revolution we worked.
The prospect of setting up an Italian-Egyptian university in Cairo represented an interesting point in relations during the celebration.
The Egyptian-Italian University is our dearest and most ambitious project. It is not, because it is ambitious, it has not been easy to implement so far. In fact, we have been discussing about this project for a number of years. But now we are ready to really relaunch it. Indeed, during the visit of President Morsi to Italy in September 13th, he met with the Italian Prime Minister Mario Monti, and they agreed that the Egyptian-Italian University project is possibly the highest priority in our cooperation. In these days we are having talks with the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Mustafa Mossad, and we are reformulating the project in a way that possibly will help us move more quickly.
The celebration was attended by a number of ambassadors and representatives for the Egyptian authorities.
Moving on to Syria, Syrian opposition groups met in Doha and agreed in principle on a plan to unite against President Bashar al-Assad. It came after the Syrian National Council, SNC, came under increased Arab and Western pressure to accept an opposition unity plan amid growing frustration among other dissident groups, once regarded as a leading opposition representative, but increasingly derided in Washington as dominated by out-of-touch exiles. The SNC has already twice asked for a postponement of the talks on plans for broad-based government in waiting. The deal is based on initiatives by fellow delegate Riyad Saif that envisages the formation of the transitional government, a military council to oversee rebel groups on the ground, and judiciary to operate in the rebel-held areas. The 10-member transitional government would be elected by a new 60-member umbrella group drawn from civilian activists and opposition fighters inside Syria, as well as by the exiles who have dominated the SNC. According to Watchdog, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, more than 37,000 people have died since the uprising against President Bashar al-Assad that erupted in March 2011. Arab League Secretary Nabil al-Arabi met with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Cairo last week and discussed the Syrian crisis. Muna Muselhi, our correspondent in the Arab League, was there and filed in the following report.
Arab League Secretary General Amr Moussa met with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on Monday in Cairo for talks on Libya at the headquarters of the League. Ban Ki-moon, the United Nations Secretary General, said that the strong recommendation by the League of Arab States to take decisive measures, including the establishment of no-fly zone, figured prominently in the adoption of the Security Council resolution.
There are many other provisions in the Security Council. I have been urging, and I'm urging again, that Libyan authorities fully comply with all the provisions of Security Council Resolution 1970-1973, starting from immediate cessation of hostilities against the civilians.
On his part, Musa underscored the nature of the UN resolution, reiterating that it only deals with threats against citizens in Benghazi and elsewhere in Libya, and confirms that there is no invasion or occupation of Libyan territory, adding that the League will continue working to protect the civilians in Libya. After Ban finished talks with Musa, Libyans carrying pictures of Muammar Gaddafi and banners critical of the United States and the United Nations blocked Ban's path, forcing him to return to the League and leave from another exit. Later, Musa received Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who reiterated his country's support to the UN resolution on Libya 1973, which demanded an immediate end to such violent actions, but stressed that Russia categorically opposed the use of military force against the civilian people. However, he said that the Gaddafi regime has ignored the united demands of the international community, and as a result of this, Russia has backed calls in the Security Council League to take measures in order to defend the humanitarian population. Musa and Lavrov also discussed the Palestinian-Israeli stalemate. The Russian Foreign Minister expressed his country's desire to play a much effective role in the peace process as part of the quartet. Musa said that he expects Russia to play a pivotal role in reconciliation between Fatah and Hamas, noting that the League supports the Palestinian Present initiative in this domain. The League chief said that he expects after that a veto which was raised against the condemnation of the illegal Jewish settlements on the Palestinian territories would be lifted to move forward with the stalled peace negotiations. Lavrov said he supports the League position towards this matter and would call for a meeting between the quartet and the League in Egypt as soon as possible. Libya dominated talks between the United Nations Secretary General and the Arab League Secretary General, during which both said that they were committed towards ending the bloodshed in Libya and urged the Libyan authorities towards stopping its violent actions against the Libyan people. Mona Musalha reporting for Nile International.
Ukraine's parliamentary elections may have passed without unrest, but the country is facing a spell of economic troubles that may include a devaluation of its currency. In his interview to Nile International, the Ukrainian ambassador to Cairo, Yevhen Kerlinsky, shed light on the Ukrainian elections and the bilateral relations.
With us here today, His Excellency the Ambassador of Ukraine in Egypt, Mr. Yevhen Kirilenko.
Yes.
Good morning, sir. We have the pleasure to have you with us here. So about these elections, why did the opposition protest against the results of it?
Well, you know, it started protesting even before the election started. And it's really funny. They called on the world community to declare the election as invalid even before the election itself started. How can that be? This is...
They said that there were some falsifications in the elections because of the ruling party had the majority also in the parliament, so they had the upper hand to do this.
Yes.
So how is your response?
You know that there is no ideal society anywhere, and Ukraine is no exception. And violations are everywhere, naturally. I mean, in any country.
Yes.
The important thing is that they should not be on a massive scale, that they should not influence the result as a whole. So what those violations were, say some deputies were caught distributing food, say buckwheat, sugar, oil, and some were distributing blood pressure meters and so on.
With this, we come to the end of today's edition of Your Say. Hope you have enjoyed it. Until we meet again next week, I'm Mahisi Rabia. Many thanks for watching.